Maybe you're a beginner gardener or working with limited space, it's so important to choose the right crops for your garden. So in today's video, I thought it would be a good idea just to share some ideas on some crop substitutions that you can use that will save you time and save your space and just increase your chances of having a successful and a productive garden. So all of that is coming up. And the first section, we will be looking at Brassica alternatives. We'll be looking at alternative brassicas that will save you time and still give you some nutritional value. So the first brassica that you can swap out, or that I would recommend you swap out, is Brussels sprouts. Now, Brussels sprouts is a cool season crop. It produces beautiful small cabbages, and it can take up to 100 days before it is ready for harvest. Another reason why Brussels sprout is not ideal for beginner gardeners or gardeners with small space is that it is very difficult to grow it organically because it normally attracts a lot of aphids, which can spread to other areas or other plants in your garden. So an alternative will be kale. Kale is also a brassica, and it can give you the same nutritional value that you can get from Brussels sprouts. Another good thing is that it will increase your chances of success, and it is a cut and come again crop that will enable you to have a continuous harvest. So instead of growing Brussels sprouts, you can swap it out and grow kale or collard greens. Now the second alternative will be for cabbage. Now cabbage is easy brassica to grow, and it is grown in many home gardens. But when you choose your cabbage variety, it is better to go for the small baby varieties. They will take up much less time, and it will mature and will be ready for use within a shorter time frame. If you go for the drumhead or the big varieties, it can definitely affect or take up your time because it will take much longer to be ready for harvest, and it can also take up much more of your space. So if you want to grow cabbages and you're a beginner and you have limited space, I would definitely recommend that you go for the baby variety. On the screen, I will put out a baby variety that you can use if you're a South African gardener. But the idea is to go for baby varieties. Another alternative will also be kale or collard because they are from the same family and they can give you the same nutritional value that you will get from cabbages. The third brassica will definitely be broccoli. Now, broccoli come in different varieties. You get the variety that will give you one single head once it is ready. And then you also get the sprouting varieties. Now, if you go for the broccoli that only give you one head, you will just get one primary head. And if you allow it to grow much further or longer, you can be lucky and get some secondary heads, which will be much smaller. So an alternative will be to rather grow the sprouting broccoli. The good thing about them is that you will have a continuous harvest. Instead of just getting one head, you will be able to get multiple stems from the sprouting broccoli, and it is just much easier to grow. So instead of going for the broccoli heads, I would recommend that you substitute it with sprouting broccoli. Now let's move over to the alliums. So leeks and onions, they are both part of the allium family, and they are long season crops because leeks and onions can take up to 6 months in the garden. Now, if you are a beginner gardener or you have limited space, it's not always feasible to allocate a space to leeks and leeks and onions that will take up to 6 months. So there are alternatives that you can use. So you can look at herbs like chives. They are also part of the onion family, and they can give you the same benefits that you would get from onions. Another variety will definitely be spring onions. Spring onions, you can plant them in batches. I normally start them indoors, sow them in clusters, and then you can plant the whole cluster, and when you harvest them, you can have a bunch of spring onions. So since they are short season crops, you can do them in succession, which will enable you to have a continuous supply of spring onions. This year, I'm also trying shallots. They are also an alternative to leeks and onions. They will be ready in a much shorter time frame. So there are definitely alternatives that you can look out to instead of growing leeks and onions. Now, I've also seen in some literature that some other gardeners recommend that you maybe try out baby leeks. So you can grow them similar like spring onions, but that's just that you will harvest them when they are much smaller. So instead of going for onions and leeks, it is advisable to look at chives, spring onions, shallots. And I haven't tried the walking Egyptian onion, but that is also another alternative that you can use that will save you time and give you the same flavor as with the onions. Now, when it comes to squashes, the pumpkins and the butternuts, they can take up a lot of space. So if you are a gardener with limited space, it will be recommended to look out for varieties that produce baby varieties. So I haven't tried it yet, but here in South Africa, I know of the Barbara variety. They produce baby squashes that will be ready in a much shorter space. I know that we are going into the winter season now, but in the event that you are in a warmer climate and you are watching this video, if you have a small space, it will be advisable to look for varieties, squash varieties that produce baby fruit. Another alternative that you can look out for is zucchinis, and look at the bush varieties. They are perfect for containers. You can grow them also in growing bags, but they are compact and will not require a lot of space. Now, when it comes to root crops, we'll look at parsnips. Now, parsnips is also a root crop that is part of the carrot family. The challenge with growing parsnips in a small space and as a beginner is that firstly, parsnips can take forever to germinate. So they have a similar requirement as carrots. You need to make sure that you keep it moist. And one of the ways to increase your chances of germination is obviously to soak it in water before you sow it directly into your garden. But parsnips takes very long to germinate. Another thing is that it takes up to 4 to 6 months before it is ready for harvest. So instead of growing parsnips, it is recommended that you rather go for carrots. So carrots, there are different varieties that you can sow in your garden. The Persian variety is ideal for gardeners with limited space. You can grow them in containers. They are compact and they will be ready in a much shorter space of time. Alternatively, you can also grow normal carrots and sow them, and once they are producing baby carrots, you can send it out and make use of the baby carrots. But instead of growing parsnips, it will be advisable to replace it with normal carrots. Now, just a disclaimer that these are just ideas. It is not recommended, it's not a must that you must substitute these crops. I'm just thinking of sharing some ideas that will increase your chances. You know, in gardening, there is no one-size-fits approach. If you feel strongly that you want to grow any of the items, please go ahead, because we are different and our circumstances is different. But I just thought that to share some ideas, to look for alternatives, to maximize your time and your space. But I hope you find this valuable. Let us know in the comments which ones you will be trying out, which ones you will be swiping in and swiping out. But I hope you find value out of this. Recently, we shared the May edition of what we are planting and sowing. You can check out that video here. We also harvested some sweet potato recently from a barrel experiment. I will also put that link up here. But thank you so much for all those who are subscribed to the channel. We truly appreciate your support. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I'm looking so forward to see you in the next one. Keep on sowing and growing. Peace.